Okay, here we go on to lesson 7. I obviously record multiple of these at a time. You see me in the same outfits, but I try to get a bunch of them done ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and go into lesson 7. We're still in chapter 3 of Esther, and we're starting at verse 9 in this lesson. Verse 9, if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business to bring it into the king's treasuries. For hundreds of years, we see that the world has tried to destroy the children of God. From the children of Israel to Christians in today's age, and just throughout history, you can look back and see where the Jews have been attacked and Christians have been attacked. Satan hates God's children. And he is always working against them and us behind the scenes. And in this particular case, he's using Haman to do it. And that is what Satan and sin do, like we talked about in the last lesson. They use us. So I don't know about you, but I don't want to be used. I don't want to be used by Satan. I want to be used by God. When Satan uses you, he takes all that you have and gives you nothing back. When God uses you, he gives you so much abundant blessings for serving him. And honestly, like, you're just happier. You enjoy your life. I love my life, I'm not perfect and I still have a long way to go, but serving the Lord, it just fuels me forward. And I feel like it's abundant living when you're doing that, when you're serving the Lord with your life instead of this world and Satan and trying to please people here. It's impossible to do. But if you set your mind on things above and you're trying to follow God as he leads you, man, it's a good life. And I love my life because of making that commitment to him, that I want to serve him. And like I said, I have a lot of things to learn, a lot of growth that I still need to do, but he's patient with me. And my goal is to constantly be moving forward. And I don't want to make any steps backward. I don't want to allow Satan to use me and destroy people's lives. And that's what Satan does. He destroys your life. Verse 10, and the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. This ring that Haman received from the king gave him power, the king's power. And he needed to do it gave him the opportunity to do what he wanted to do. It gave him the opportunity to take those emotions that led to his thoughts, that led to his plan, and put it into action. So we see that continues on. It can go positively or it can go negatively. Your thoughts do affect your actions, and your actions can either have good results or bad results depending on what you're trying to do. And in this case, Haman's emotions, wrath, led to a bad thoughts, bad plans, and his demise, and bad actions, and then his demise. Sorry. So one more time, it's his emotions, bad emotions that led to bad thoughts, that led to bad plans, that led to bad actions, that led to his demise. So there are consequences for the decisions that we make. And I have found in my own life that the consequences for the decisions that I make in the heat of anger or jealousy or bitterness or whatever, those are the ones that I regret the most. And a lot of times I've made a fool out of myself because I reacted in my emotion. And I'm very thankful in my life to have had parents that were really good about teaching us about that. And then I married a man who's really good about helping me stop and think about what I'm doing. And he is very good about, calling me out if my thoughts are not right. He'll call me out and tell me that. And I appreciate that. And I've tried to circle my life with people like that will be honest with me. I have my sister-in-law is a really good person. She'll tell me like it is. And my sister is like that too. She'll tell me when I have, when I'm not doing things biblically. And I appreciate people in my life that are willing to hold me accountable in my actions or my emotions, my thoughts, my plans and my actions, so that I don't lead to my demise. So surround yourself with people like that will also hold you accountable. Having good people in your life is very important. Having people that just tell you what you want to hear, it might be nice in the moment, but in the long term, it's not going to be good for you. And be that kind of friend that will also tell somebody when they're going against scripture. Do it in love. You don't want to do it with a harsh heart, but be that friend, be that iron that sharpeneth iron that the Bible talks about. I kind of got off on a rabbit trail there. That didn't really have a whole lot to do with the ring on his hand that he received to do this, but the Lord just kind of gave that to me as I was sitting here going through this. So, and then verse 11, we see, and the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. So the king's permission was given along with the silver. And this is a scary phrase to me. And I'll explain why in a minute. As it seemeth good to thee. If you're walking the right way in your life, what seemeth good will probably be good. But in this case, Haman was wrathful, as we saw in verse 5, and it's probably not a good time for him to be making decisions, as we've been talking about, or for him to be given any power to be able to make those decisions. So the king was very unwise here to pass that ring along. Our hearts are deceitful and they're wicked. And when we get angry, we make poor choices. And that's what we're going to see that Haman does throughout these next couple chapters. We really see where Haman's emotions ruined his life, ended his life. Verse 12, then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, in the name of King Ahasuerus was it written, and sealed with the king's ring. Verse 12, Haman made sure that everyone knew. And all of this was done in the king's name. And kind of a rabbit trail that I went off when I was thinking about that, when I was thinking about in the king's name, I need to be careful that when I am doing something in the Lord's name, that because I can't trust my heart. I need to make sure that my motives are correct. Why am I doing what I'm doing? I think a lot of times for me, I've done a lot of things in my life that were good things to do. And from the outside, other people looking in probably looked at it like service to the Lord. But my motives in doing those things was for men's praise. And so they mean nothing to the Lord. And I think we need to make sure we're analyzing why we're doing what we're doing, and be very careful when we're working in the Lord's name as to how we're carrying ourselves, the things that we're saying. Our mouths get us in trouble a lot of times. And for me, this was just kind of a eye-opening thing of, okay, I need to be more careful. I need to be more thoughtful. I need to be very aware that because I'm a Christian, people assume that what I'm doing is in his name. And we do have that power. God gave us that power when he gave us the Holy Spirit. And just as Christians, we have that opportunity to reach out and have his power in our lives. Verse 13, and the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. Verse 14, the copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. Verse 15, the post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed. What we see in these last 3 verses for lesson 7 is he wanted to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish. The Bible is very specific here. Those are words that really stick out and grab your attention. And that it was all the Jews. When I was going through here, I circled every time I saw every or all or what was the other word? I guess it was just every and all the way through here. I think it's used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times I see where those all-inclusive words in regards to the Jews was used in the provinces that this was all sent out to. And it included the young, the old, the little children, and the women. And this was all going to happen in one day. And he gave them time to prepare to do this so that they could put a plan into place. It's just wicked. It was just this whole situation was just a very wicked thing. And the upside to all of this for the people that were going to kill the Jews was that they would gain the person's possession that they killed. So that was their motive for going through with this. That's what Haman was trying to motivate them to do this, to follow out his plan. And we see that in verse 15, the city of Shushan was perplexed about this whole thing. Perplexed is another one of those words that stood out to me. I looked it up in the Webster's 1828 dictionary, and this is the definition that it gives. Made intricate, embarrassed, puzzled. And I can imagine it was a very strange thing, this commandment that's going through the kingdom. And I mean, the Jews weren't really creating any problems. They weren't rioting. They weren't trying to cause war. They weren't planning on revolting against the king. They hadn't done anything to merit this level of reaction to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish the Jews. They hadn't done anything for that to happen, and they were just going about their lives, living, their day-to-day lives, going about their business. And I'm sure it did seem very, very puzzling as this was all happening. And there's got to be, just like today, you can see things happening sometimes and you go, okay, there's something else going on behind the scenes. And I'm sure there were people that felt that way. Something else is going on here. And it was, Satan's hand was at work in this situation. That's all for lesson 7. And again, I hope it's been a blessing to you. And we're going to go ahead and finish chapter 3. We'll go ahead and start on Esther 4 in the next lesson. Thank you.